I thought you finished the website. So yeah, so try out few stuff with ChatGPT as well, because you can actually ask, as I showed you guys last week, you can use ChatGPT to come up with some new stuff, no? As well as me nowadays. So I've been looking at multiple different opportunities, like looking for projects for the last couple of weeks. So like company needs new projects, no? But now the tables have turned. So most of the time, people are requesting simple developers who can actually come up with a straightforward solution. So example is, you get the problem, and what they want is to have somebody who can give a solution for that particular problem. Okay, so there's a big demand for that. Big means like a massive demand. So if you know how to handle ChatGPT properly, literally, you can easily earn a big salary. Big means, normally if you earn it from Sri Lanka, if you work for a remote company, you can easily earn about close to about let's say 800,000 to 1 million, something like that. Okay, yes, that's the range now. So, but the thing is, you need to know how to type the prompts properly and how to generate it, as the way I showed you guys last week. Okay, so create a website and let's see how it goes. Okay, perfect. Let's jump into the code back, and guys, let's try to finish up this part today, because last week we spent almost half of the class trying to get the website up and running. So let me change the camera and scene 2. Perfect. So you should be able to see me. Nice. Okay. So what about the Google Collab? How far did you guys get a chance to play around with it? Binlaka, what about you?
All the time.
Okay. Maybe Binlaka, you have some microcontrollers and some robotic stuff, right?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. මොකුත් හැදුවේ නැද්ද අලුත් දෙයක් ළඟදී?
Not sir.
මොනවාරි හදන්න. Check first stuff. I was just looking at a video online. Give me one moment. Cool. History. I was just looking at this few minutes ago. I'll send you the link on chat. So this guy literally takes in this thing. Hold on. Where's the chat? So he takes in a ChatGPT model, and he creates a small robot with a screen. So it works based on Python and a small microcontroller, and after that you run the code, and this guy literally works. So it listens to it looks at the world, and it detects where to go and so on.
Now back to your regularly scheduled programming.
Provided the human can figure out how to do that.
See how it works? Cool.
Camera sees a clearer view of the room with the plant in focus and the light shining through the window suggesting an open area ahead. No obstructions directly in the path to navigate further into the space.
So it doesn't work perfectly, but still it works. It works up to a certain extent. So check that video out. And it will give you some ideas. And try to build something now, since we are getting into Python. There are multiple different avenues, like paths you can go. So robotics and control structures, that's the primary path. Plus, as well as based on everything, we have data mining and I showed you guys also, like creating AI models. So these days, this AI agent, AI agent term is actually getting a big hype because people are always trying to build AI agents. And what happens is, like using these AI models, now what people do is they create different types of models to help day to day life. So, to make sure that it will help, let's say, the day-to-day life of normal people, like taking a call, answering like answering machines, and machines like where you can actually use to get requests in, and so on and so forth. So they are like really well done, no? So that's actually quite good. There are multiple, just search as AI agents on Google and you can find out a massive lot of AI agents. See, like there are different agents where you can build, and there's lot of videos. See, and there's this thing called automation as well. And Binlaga, this gaming YouTube channels, there are ways for you to take video content from other channels and build video shorts. Have you seen it?
Yes.
Do you know
Yes, sir.
if you get a proper channel up and running, a YouTube channel, which if we take that goes viral, or like if people starts to watch those shorts, do you know how much you can earn a month? Can you guess?
No.
So if you get at least about couple of million,
Uh,
yes.
we can earn from 1,000 views 12 to 13 dollars.
$12 to $13
$13
exactly. So
for 1,000.
yeah, so if you get a good channel running with like at least a million views, then you are looking at least close to about 1.5 to 2 million rupees a month.
I put a short on my channel that
Okay.
got me 8 minutes. That got me 600 views
600 views. That's good. That's really good.
for one day.
Iti hodai ni. That's perfect. Okay. Yeah, that's
I published it on 2025 February 23.
okay. Okay. So
It got
that's
me 12 likes
okay.
and 541 views.
Okay. That is something really good. So now, but the thing is, you cannot stop. You have to keep on continuously keep on posting. That's the thing. Okay.
And my my biggest views video is the Hello Infinity intro.
Longest
58 views.
viewed video. Okay, no, that's good. That's good. That's
No.
like really well.
No,
Ah,
I have 58 views on this video. Hello intro, 1 minute.
okay. Okay, that's good. Nice. Okay, guys. So perfect. So just I'm not telling you to stop everything and start making videos, but since you have time, just during your free time, just try to automate some videos and see how much you can get out of it. Because as far as I got to know, there are people who is in Sri Lanka who makes a good lot of money because of like using these tools, like AI tools, plus they make YouTube videos through AI tools. Okay, so nice. Okay, so guys, let's jump back to the club lecture. So where do we? So last week we went until the operators. So we talked about the different logical operators we have, and I showed you guys the gates and how the operators works and how the gates are transformed and so on and so forth. So I hope that part is clear, and we went through the Python representation, which we know that it's and, o and no, not. So we tried out few examples. Here you can see how the examples worked, right? So now we need to jump into something interesting, which are known as loops. Okay, so before we jump into loops, we need to learn about a
You have grammar
sorry, no,
on your.
no, I didn't get you, Robin. Sorry, your connection is not clear.
Do you have Grammarly on your MacBook?
I do have Grammarly installed. Yes. Why? What's up? See?
The latest G is coming.
Yes, yes, yes. Yeah, I do have a paid version of Grammarly because Grammarly helped me to write my thesis and all my documentation, and I do write a lot now. So it kind of helps me to like filter up the code. Okay, so before we jump into loops, we need to learn about a new data type, which we did talk about it a little bit before, about the structure before, but we need to learn about how this works. So far we talked about different data types, right? So we went through strings. You guys know strings. We talked about numeric types, and we went through text and numeric so far. Now we need to talk about the sequence types. Okay, so the sequence types are simply taken, these are arrays. Okay, so arrays means something like this. So let's say if we create a list called cars, okay, and if I get this value, print cars, and if we run this, you can see this is technically taken as a data list. So BMW, and let's say Tesla. Okay, so the representation, how it works is, this takes all the data and put it into a particular set of items. Okay, now like as we use the strings, the string pointers, if you remember, we did this on top, where something we did it where we get the string. We tried out splitting the string into different parts, if you can remember. So similar here the slicing it, and see, when you take the A, hello world, you can see if we access it as hello world, sorry, the A fifth element, that means we are going to get the fifth element of that particular string. Similar to that, the array will let you actually select the items in a similar way. So if I take the cars variable and if I put 0, and if we run this, you can see I am getting the 0th element. So if I put 1, I am going to get BMW, and if I put 3, I am going to get nothing, right? Because what happens, this is 0, 1 and 2, we don't have a third element in it, so I am going to get the error, which is known as index out of range. Okay, so always remember, now if I add a third one, let's say I don't know. Tell me a car brand name.
Rolls Royce.
I'll put it as RR. Okay, you can see. Now since this item is there, you get the details out. Okay, so these are simply taken, these are known as arrays, and in Python we call them as lists. Okay, so let's see what are the types of lists we have. So you can put as much as items into a list. That is perfectly okay, because we in the real world we do use lists a lot, because all the data, example is like, if you query, if you get some data from a database, then that database, that data set will be sent inside an array, so that you can loop through the array and get the data set out. So example is, now we have this set of functions. Now example, if you use this function called length, if you run the function called length, you can see you are getting the value as 4. That is because we have 1, 2, 3, 4 items in the cars array, right? Okay, so likewise we can actually have different data types inside these lists as well. So let me show you now. If we take this one, okay, so let's say these are cars now. So let's say car count. Okay, let's put 30 Toyotas, 2 BMWs, 5 Teslas, and 1 Rolls Royce. So if I print this cars and car count, see, you can see that the number types are working as well, right? Then, so let's do something like this, car availability. Then if I do it like this, if I print it, you can see we can save any sort of data within an array, right? Okay, so shall we try out one more thing? Now here we have 3 different types now. So I'll change this to car models. Okay, car models. But without doing all this, shall we keep something like cars, a simple structure, and here let's put something like this, and let's see how this works. See, you can have a list inside a list as well. See, now in the previous example we had 4 different variables, right? 4 different lists, which okay, now it's clear. See, in the previous examples we had 3 different lists, which one contained the model, another one contained the count, and the other one contained the availability. So that's a bit messy, no, because it has multiple items in it. So what we do is we have the option of merging all together as well, which will then again give you a one single big array. Okay, so arrays works like that. You get the option to have multiple levels, which will then allow you to get the details out. So is it clear? Any questions?
No, sir.
Okay. Can you okay, before we, yeah, so I'll show you
Sir.
what. Yes.
Do you know some AI dubbing apps?
AI dubbing apps. I have used one some time ago. I can't remember. Murph. I have used this one.
Can you send the link for that on the chat?
I have used this Smurf AI. It's a big, so you can just create an account and you can use it with your free. You can use the free tier, but see, you get only 10. You get only 10 minutes. 10 minutes of voice generation, but you can get something done. I actually purchased. I had a month. I purchased it 1 month sometime back because we had to we were stuck with this thing to create a advertisement. See, this is good, huh?
It's Friday night. Grill's hot. Steak's ready. It's juicy. It's tender. But some
See,
Discover the ultimate destination for fashion lovers. Poppy and Posh.
It's never too early to start thinking ahead, and the Trade Retirement Center can help. With a Trade IRA,
Get ready for the ultimate adrenaline rush. Mega
Sir.
Tux is
yeah.
I saw some videos that the person's real voice, not in on the video, but it is very hard
I didn't.
voice.
So,
මං වීඩියෝ එකක් දැක්කා ඒකේ මේ එයාගේ ඇත්තම එක්කෙනාගේ වොයිස් එක නෙමෙයි තියෙන්නේ.
hari.
ඒක ගැඹුරු වෙලා තමයි තියෙන්නේ. කොහොමද ඒක කරන්නේ? ඒක ඩබින් එකක්ද?
voice dubbing එකක් වෙන්නත් පුළුවන්. නැත්තම් සමහර වෙලාවට ඔයාට මේ ඔය මේක එහෙම තියෙන්නේ මේ. ඔව්.
Like most people use like the Audacity app,
Audacity app, yes.
like for like changing the voice tunes and stuff.
Yeah, you can actually use Audacity to kind of tune it, but some people.
So can you send the link for that also?
Audacity, yeah, this is
Yeah,
actually
like,
a very.
I need to update my one.
Yeah, this is a very old app. We used to use it.
So like the thing
long
is
time
like
ago.
when you like download it, just downloads Music Hub and then you have to download it from Music Hub.
Now it's something. Okay, now it's moved to a different point. No? What is Music Hub?
Like it's like the space where like music creation things are given now.
Oh, okay. Now they have changed the website a lot. I haven't used this for a long time. What I use is I use Filmora, this one. So this also has a.
Is it free?
Filmora, there is a free tier. I
But
use
the paid one is better.
paid one is better. It's not that expensive. I bought this for I think how much? It's about 40 ගානක් තියෙන පොඩි ගානකුත් නෙමෙයි. It's about I have this package. I purchase it on yearly basis. One time
It
payment.
is a monthly one or
No, yearly.
per year?
Per year. මගේ තියෙන මේක 49 එක. I use this one because this is a one time payment, no? So I use this, but when you go through this one you get all the AI credits and all, but if you go with this package, I think you get cloud export features as well. I'm not sure, but now what I wanted to show you was there we have this AI audio enhancer, this one. So this can do what you just said. See, if I.
Let's dive into the features of this new app.
That's the original. This is.
Let's dive into the features of this new app. It's really user-friendly and allows you to quickly edit photos.
See, it kind of helps you to clear out and adjust the tone of the voice. You can get it done. But try it out. Just check if the just download it and play around with it and see.
Like I use CapCut. Sorry,
CapCut. CapCut is also not free, no?
It is free, but you have to pay for like better options. Like for the pro one, you have to pay.
Ah, okay, okay.
The thing is that because I'm using a laptop, it uses up all my RAM.
That's true. Yeah, CapCut. I don't have an account, but CapCut has a like a online version also, right? You can create videos on the browser itself, right?
Yes, I don't know about that one, but it's better to use like the installed one. It doesn't like bring up patterns.
It works in the browser, see? But the Ade, okay. Now only I just try this out. මට සිරි. ඒක වැඩ කරනවා නේ මේ බාන්නු. So it allows you to edit all the videos online. It's by just adding some images, no? And you have the text also. Can you change the text?
Yes, sir.
You can, no? You can change the position also. That's perfect. Yeah, so okay, but on the desktop application, I think you should get more features than this, no?
Something like that. Yeah. But like sometimes the pre-templates are not there sometimes.
Okay. So we'll look at try it out. You have a lot of softwares to do. Okay, me jumping back to this one. I want you guys to try this out, but I'll show you one more thing and then you can try it. So
Sir, do you record it?
yes, this is recording.
Ah.
Yes, and then okay, so yeah, it is recording and the links are on my page as well. No? You can find the
Okay,
links
sir.
there. So
Sir, I found your YouTube.
yes.
Then the first day I joined.
Okay. So I do have. So if you go to my YouTube channel, I do have a certain set of playlists. So under the playlists, you can find all the
I watched
types.
all of them.
Yeah, so you can just go to ICT if you want to watch ICT, yes. Otherwise, computer science, and you can find all the videos. Just don't mind this thumbnail. Nah? I really need to change the thumbnails. That takes time, so I was not able to complete the thumbnails. But yes, will be there. So you can find all the details there. So guys, one small point, and then I'll let you try this out. So when you're defining a list, okay, an array, there are two ways to do this. So usually what we do is we just use the square brackets and that's it. Otherwise, you do have the option of using the list method as well. Okay, so the list method, please note that if you write this, you need to have double round brackets inside the list. So I'll show you how it works. So let's say if I create this thing as list bikes, okay. So if we start adding the values here, bikes, BMW has bikes now, and Bajaj,
Yamaha,
and
Honda,
Suzuki, Honda, okay. So if we create something like this, let's see what happens. So if I try to print,
BMW S1000RR.
it's a details. Sorry. So if I run this, you can see I'm going to get an error. So the error is since this is a list function, you need to pass the data within another bracket. Now you can see the output is the same. So this is the same as writing this like this. Oops. So this is how it works. So it's the same thing, but you can define it as a list as well. So why do we use this? So this is basically known as the list constructor, which is which we used to which was there before, but now it's actually quite easy. We can just go through this type and work on this. Okay, can you guys try this out? Just create a list and see how it works. I'll give you five minutes. You can see the screen, right?
In the Google Collapse, what we are using a Python or
This is Python,
Java.
correct. Python. This is all Python. Harry? Okay, shall I jump to the next one? Does it work?
Sir, can you send you a Google Collab?
Ah, yes. Cool. I'll send it again on the. Yeah, I sent it on the WhatsApp group also. Okay, shall I? Do you need more time? So just try it out. Try it out
No,
how
sir.
it works. Ah, all good.
Yes, sir.
Daham, what about you? Is it okay?
Wait, sir.
Yep. Okay, take your time.
Sir, can you send the code to the group? like another group like this. Yeah? Like,
Okay. Yep. I just sent it.
yeah, so I'm still having that issue. I'm just go to your lab.
What's the issue? You're getting
The copying issue.
Can I send it on WhatsApp then?
WhatsApp still not connected.
So you can get it on your Google Collab account.
Yeah, it will be easy if you just copy paste it from the Google Collab, man. You got the link, right?
Yes, sir.
Yeah,
Yes, sir.
just click on the link and you can find the last code. Just scroll down, scroll to the bottom, and you'll be able to find it. That would be easier. Then you can easily find the details. Harry, can I jump to the other point?
Yes, sir.
Nice. Okay, so copy tuples. No, we don't need to go to into tuples. Then okay, so then I'll show you one more point, which is known as a set. Okay, so after this we can jump into basically to the loops. So let's try this out. So this is about lists. Let me add a comment to this. Okay, let's add another code block. Then okay, so let's try the same example but with a different object type. Okay, so if we take this car models and if we do it like this, okay, so same thing, I'll call it Toyota, and print car models and run. Now you can see we have a data set, right? So this is an array, but here this kind of looks a bit weird, right? This is something different. So here, if I try to access it with something like this, I'm going to get an object error because this does not work as an array. Okay, so let's see how we can access this. So if I want to access this value, give me 1 second. Yeah, we'll add few more data points into this. Cool. I'll copy these two. Okay, and if you run this, you can see it works. Now, even if you try to access this, it's not going to give you the data set. Okay, so see how it works. Now let's see how we can actually get this data set. So how it works is, now you can add any sort of data into this particular set, and then when you want to pull this out, this is how it will be taken out. So we have this so we do have two options to get this. Okay, so first let's see. So this is how we set up the set. As the same way, we can do this using the set method, similar to this one. So same as the way we created the list, we can use the set method, and I'll just comment this for the moment. Oops. And if I run this, you can see the result is the same. Okay, now let's jump in and see how this works. So I'll just put a comment. comment here. Okay, nice, perfect. Let's jump back into sets and see how it works. So, when accessing a set item, we do have a particular, we don't have a particular method of getting the items directly out of this. Okay, so what we do is, we cannot access it as an item, right? Like as we did in the array, we don't have a method of accessing it as one particular point, because here now when you look at the array, you can see that in the array we have an index, no? So it starts from 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, right? But when it comes to the set, we don't have an index. It's like, just think something like it's a bag of items. You have a certain set of items in the bag, and that's it. You don't know where that item is, but you know the items are there, right? Okay, so in order for us to access this, the way is to basically create a loop. Okay, so I wanted to come to loops after teaching you guys this, because now you know why we primarily need loops in Python. Because okay, so now let's try this out. So we can create a loop like this, okay, for, and since these are car models, we can loop through the models. Okay, now if I run this, you can see it looped through all the car models inside the car model list, and I printed out the model like this. Okay, so this is how it will allow you to access the the set items. Okay, so the sets are quite similar to the lists, but the thing is, here we do not have an index, keep in mind, as well as in order to access it, there are no direct ways of accessing, so you have to literally loop through the set itself. But there is a certain set of features. Okay, now example is, now if you take an array, okay, so if you take an array, then if you want to find if there is an item in the array, so those are the typical validations. අපිට සාමාන්‍යයෙන් data set එකක් ආවම අපිට තියෙන ලොකුම මේ validation එක තමයි ඒක ඇතුලේ data මොකක් හරි specific item එකක් තියනවාද කියන එක හොයන එක. So the primary concern is that to find out if there's a specific data item inside that array. So in this case, it's quite straightforward. So if you want to check if something is there, you can literally check here, as you can see in the example, we can use the in keyword. Okay, there's a keyword called in. In එක දාලා අපිට බලන්න පුළුවන්, let's say අපි බලමු මේක ඇතුලේ BMW එකක් තියෙනවද කියලා. BMW in car models. Oops. Okay, now if I run this, you guys can see the answer is true. So using this way, we can easily validate without looping through an array. So if we want to check the same thing in an array, so if we try to replicate the same thing in an array, so let me show you array list example. So let's convert this to a list. So all we need to do is just remove the brackets. Then we need to find if the car model is there, right? Now if I run this, I can easily loop through this, and then again I can find out if there is a value in the list. Okay, anyway, just that's something extra. So lists work like this. So now in the option, like once a set is created, then again same as the lists, now we do have some features where we can add and remove items. Okay, so let's try this out as well. So now I'm jumping back to the lists. So in lists we do have the option called append and remove. Okay, so let's try this out. So let's say I'll create a new one. Okay, so I'll use the same car models. Okay, now let's say if you want to add another car model to the list. So how to do this? Quite easy. We use the append method. So when we use the append method, let's say if we want to add another one, let's say BYD, and if I run this, you can see that got appended into the array. Okay, so lists basically allows you to remove pieces from here and there and add them back in. Okay, so let's say I want to add this, and let's say I want to remove our Rolls Royce. So if I run this, you can easily see that. So this is the initial array, and what happened was we appended BYD and we removed RR. Okay, so this gives you a massive lot of power because you can add and remove features here and there from a complete data set, right? And then that is for adding the items. Okay, now we have another point because see, now you might get a requirement. So I'll leave this as it is. So here you might get a requirement to add a value to a specific position. Okay, so let's say if you run this, you can see that now. So this insert function that allows you to add a item to a specific location. Okay, now okay, example is if you run append, what happens is that would append the value into this array, right? So whatever the array, the list we have, it would be added to the end, appended, no? So always it would be added here. But when you use the insert function, now you have an option to insert it into a specific place. So let's say if I put 0, you can see that it's inserted in the beginning. Okay, so if I put 4, 0, 1, 2, 3 and 4th, you get it to the last position. Got the idea? Confusing the clear the mokada vende?
Clear.
Okay. Okay, so now I'll show you one more function, and then you can actually copy this up. So then we did the remove also, and then we do have one more option where we can use. So there's a certain set of functions like this. So we do have a certain set of functions. You guys can play around with this, and I will show you the most used functions. And now, like as we removed RR, you can actually remove, and there's another method where we can pop. So when you use the pop method, what happens is, okay, I'm just going to comment this for the moment, just to show you how it works. So when if you just use the pop method, that's going to remove the last element from the array or the list. See, so the last element is RR is removed. But if I add an index to the pop, then see what happens. So I added 2, that means 0, 1, 2, Tesla is removed. Right? So likewise, so we have the remove, we have the, okay, I'll keep it in order. So we have the append and insert, and then we have the remove and pop. So append adds the value adds a value to the end of the list. This adds a value to a defined position of the list. Okay, and this would remove the defined value, and this will, if a value is passed, if a value is passed, then that index is removed, or the last item is removed. Okay, so let's run this and see. So if we run it, now you can see we have a different type of an array. So we start with Toyota, BMW, Tesla and RR, Rolls Royce. Then we added BYD to the end, okay, which made the array 0, 1, 2, 3 and 4. Then we added Ferrari. Okay, so Ferrari was added at the 4th position, so BYD were moved to the other point, and then we removed RR, and then we removed the second index. Okay, so let me write this just to show you guys what happened. So when this executed, we got an array similar to this, BYD, right? And then when this was added, where did the value got added? Can you guys see where's the value? So when this line executed, it adds a value to the defined position. So 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, right? 4th position. Got it? Clear there? Right? So it's added to the 4th position. That means it would be added here. Right? And then what happened was we removed RR, which end up creating an array list, a list like this, and then we popped the value. So RR was removed. Then we popped the second index. So second index means 0, 1 and 2. So that means Tesla was removed. So ultimately the answer is this. So if I run it, you can see we ended up getting the final answer. Okay, is it clear?
Yes, sir.
Okay, can you? I will give you 5 minutes just to play around with this. Can you try it out? You want the code? No, even if I give you the code, you will have to download it. I mean, you can get it through this thing, the Google Colab.
Done, sir.
Okay, perfect. What about the hum? Are you also okay? Nice. Okay, perfect. So now you guys know the fundamental points about lists and sets. Okay, now I'll show you the next most important thing, final thing, which is known as dictionaries. Okay, now you know how it works from lists and the sets. So the way we define it, so a set is defined like this and a list is defined like this, right? So on top of both, one second. Yeah, okay, now I got it. Okay, so on top of both of these things, we have this concept called dictionaries. Okay, so a dictionary is something similar to a data object. Okay, so let's see how it works. Now if I create something like a variable called car, okay, and I'm going to add the curly braces. Okay, now without adding it as a list, sorry, as a set, I'm going to add it like this. Okay, so it would be created in a way like this. So when you create a dictionary, now you are going to get a little bit of a different set. Okay, so in the previous sets, okay, see, this is the previous set we had, no? So that had just a certain set of values, but no keys. Key එකක් නැහැ මේකේ. හරිද? මොකද key එකක් නැහැ. Key එකක් තිබුණ නැති නිසා තමයි we had to for loop, right? We had to loop through it to find out the data set. But here now it's something different. Then dictionary key, we have a key because see, brand is Ford, model is Mustang, year is 1964, right? Now when we have the keys, now we have a option of accessing it as the same way we access a list. So in the list we access it using the index. No, here we can access it as brand. If I run this,
Sir, I send my Google Colab.
yes, okay, hold on. Ah, nice, perfect. You got the idea how it was? Memo got the absolute metrics. So you created an array map, and for in range, okay. Okay, that's good. That's good. You have the file. Okay, so let me jump back. So this dictionaries. So dictionaries, now with this particular structure, now you can define a more structured list. Now in the previous list, we were kind of like stuck with a set of indexes now. So indexes started from 0 and it went until whatever the number of items you have in the list, right? But in this case, now what happens is, now you have a specific key to capture. Okay, so let's change this and let's change this to a different way. So let's say cars. I'm going to call it Toyota, and under Toyota we can have something like this. So under Toyota we can either we can go with an array, a list, okay. So if I run this, oh sorry, there is no such thing as a brand. No? Okay, yeah, see, Prius, මොන හරි වාහන ටිකක් කියන්න. Aqua, Prius, no, I mean couple of Toyota vehicles. Anyway, okay, I'll leave it. No, no worries. So right. So likewise, cool. Yes, the semicolon. See, now with the data dictionary, now we get a lot of freedom, right? So we can have mix match of different data types. So here you can see we have a data type called Toyota, and inside Toyota we have a certain set of So here what I did was I added a list. Or if you want, inside the list, without adding it like this, if you want to make things much more complex, inside the list you actually have the option of creating another data dictionary. Okay, so now we have, let's add another car. Okay, now see what happened. Now we have a data set, a dictionary, which is known as Toyota, and inside the Toyota we have a list, and inside the list again we have a certain set of data dictionaries. Okay, so how can we access this particular value? මෙන්න මේ value එක Camry එක කොහොමද අල්ලන්නේ? කියන්න බා. I want to get the price of Camry. How can I access this? Daham, can you
Print
yeah. Okay, print. Okay,
Camry and price.
එහෙම බෑ. දැන් මේක access කරන්න විදිහක් තියෙනවනේ. This is a data dictionary නේ. So now අපි ඉස්සෙල්ලා access කරන්න Toyota එකනේ. මේකනේ ගන්න ඕනේ. So we have to take the Toyota first. So that means we'll have to access it as Toyota, right? Then when I run this, see how it works. Hi. දැන් මොකද උනේ? දැන් ආයෙ මොකද්ද? Now we got Toyota, right? Hi. So then the next point would be to access the Camry car, right? So Camry එකේ index එක මොකක්ද? What's the index? What is the index of Camry?
Excuse me, sir, Professor?
Yeah, so I'm trying to get the value, the price of Camry. Okay, so what do you think? Now we came up to this extent where we access the Toyota from the cars variable, right? Cars data list. Now we have the Toyota. Now how can we access this 15,000? The value 15,000. Yes.
Sir, like, sir, may I just edit your one, sir, like, Google Clap with easy than explaining?
Huh? Sorry?
May I just edit the one you are doing on Google Clap with easier than to explain?
Yeah. Otherwise, just tell me what you are going to do. මෙතන මොකක්ද දාන්නේ?
Sir, like, I was like about to do like in the place where you are like, typing so what is that thing called, like the two
Square brackets.
not the square bracket, not the square bracket, like that one, like like the two, like at the top, I can't remember the name.
ඔයාගෙන මෙහෙමද කරලි එකක්ද?
No, sir.
No, not exactly. Okay, now this is okay, so see, now again I'll go back. So when you run this, here what you can see is, now this is a dictionary, no? So when you take a dictionary, okay, let me show this again. With our code back add karam I'll leave the code as it is. So a dictionary is something like this. Okay, so let me create a dictionary called student. Okay, so student can have a name, right? Let's say John, and age country. Okay, so we can have a data set like this. So when you run it, you can see now the student dictionary, the student data set is created according to this particular structure, right? Now, unlike the lists or the sets, we can access the dictionary items like this. So let's say if you want to take the age of the student, all you need to do is you just call the student age, and when you run, you can see the value is set as 36. Okay, so if I want to take the country of the student, you can see it's Norway, and if you get the name of the student, you can see that's John, right? So that's how you access a value from a data dictionary. Okay, is that clear? May try this out. Type this in. Binlaga, are you clear with this point?
Yes, sir.
Okay, try this first.
Sir, can you send the Google Collab? I was having a Wi-Fi problem and I just log out and log in.
Hold on. Yep, I just sent it.
So aren't you using Google Chrome?
I am. I'm using Chrome.
But when you send a link for the chat,
Okay.
it's running on a different drive.
So your browser, your default browser must be set as something else.
Okay, sir.
Hari, okay. Did it work? Structure එක හරිද? Dahab, okay. All good?
Yes, sir.
Okay, perfect. So
Yes, sir.
now according to this one, now can you tell me, so now you know how to access the properties inside the data dictionary, no? Now here I want to get the value of the price of the Toyota Camry. So how can we do that? Guys, give me one moment. Hold on. Give me one moment. Guys, give me one moment. I'll be back. Hold on. Yeah, very sorry. Okay, super. So, yeah, so the flow is clear, right? All good. Now, so
Yes, sir.
yeah, so what we need to access it, we need to get the value of Camry. So the thing is now, since this is a dictionary, that means we can access it as Toyota, right? So now when I access it as Toyota, now you can see, now inside Toyota, what do we have here? What is this one? This is a list, right? So in the list, now if I want to access the value of a list, now Camry is the second index, right? So we have Corolla, then we have Camry, right? So here 0, 1 and 2. So that means we can access the value as 1, right? So let's say if I run this, now you can see inside the Toyota dictionary, inside the list, we access the first element, sorry, the second element, which is the index 1, and now again we have a data dictionary, right? There we can access it as price, P-R-I-C-E, price. Now if I run this, now we have the value as 15,000. Got the idea? Understood how it works? All clear?
Yes.
Okay, so that way now we actually get a broader access within the whole data set. Okay, now I know these are like a bit complex stuff when it comes to programming, but then again, when we are building data structures, this is the fundamental points of building a structure. Because now let's say if you go into the previous example, the student example, now here you can see that in order for us to create a data set for a student, the only possible way for us to do that is by using a dictionary, because otherwise it's going to be a very, very big mess, because we will not know a specific index. Now in this case we know this particular student, the name, we can access the name of the student by using just the keyword called name, and then we can access the age of the student by just using the keyword called age, and we can access the country of the student just by using the keyword called country. Like this, if I run this, you can see we got Norway. Okay, so I know it's not that complex. When you try it out, it should directly work. So now it's like this. Now let's say when we are building some applications, like let's say if it is some sort of a robo app, still then again you will use these data structures, because otherwise it's going to be a bit hard for you to exactly find out where the data is structured and where to put the data in. Okay, so is this example clear? All good? Can I jump to the loops then?
Yes, sir.
Okay, Binlaka, are you okay as well?
Yes, sir.
Nice, perfect. Okay. All good. Then let's jump into iterators. Okay, so we do have, we'll start with the, yeah, we'll start with the loops. We'll start from going through the for loops. Okay, so this for loops, remember the syntax. Now when we have a list of items, we use a for loop to go through this particular list. Okay, so loops are basically categorized into two different types of loops. So we have definite loops. Definite loops means you will basically run the loop. So it's definite, right? So definite means defined length. So we run it into a defined length based on whatever the values which is being there. So inside, if you take an array and if we loop through the array, so I'll let you an example. So let's go through the for loops and we'll for loops. Okay, so let's try this out. So let's take cars again, and can you give me some cars? Then okay. So here, if I run this code, you can see the cars are printed down, right? So this is this a defined loop or indefinite loop? Definite loop or an indefinite loop? This is a definite loop, right? So what we do is we have a certain set of defined elements and we loop through these elements one by one. See, so we get Toyota, BMW, Tesla and RR, Rolls-Royce, and we loop through it in a defined manner. So that means how many items are there? We have only 4 items in this loop, right? So it's only going to loop until the end of these 4 items, right? Quite straightforward. Simply we just go through this particular set of items. So let's see some examples. So the iteration, so when it comes to pseudocode, now in pseudocode, this is the way we write it. So example, here you can say repeat 50 times and send this star sign, the asterisk sign, to display, and once we repeat it once the repetition is over, the 50 repetitions is over, then we end the repeat. Okay, so that is how we write that in pseudocode, this one. Then using a for loop, this is again something different, similar to the previous repeat, but using for loops, that would be repeat for. So we start with for the number of times from 1 to whatever the length, 1 to 100, and in pseudocode we write it as do. We start with we end the for statement with do. That means perform that activity, and we say send asterisk to display, and at the end we set as end for. Okay, so for loops also, there are few things, because sometimes for loops, they also allow us to count. And get a step count. Now in this case, for times from 0 to 100 steps, 25, go per 25 and do it. So here you can see, if we execute this type of a code, then what we are going to get is 0, 25, 50 and 70. That is because we are going forward with a certain set of steps. So let's jump into the code and see how it works. In Python, we do have a method of creating a range using the function called range, R-A-N-G-E. Okay, so let's try this out and see how it works. Now this example, I hope it's clear, because it's basically looping inside an array, right? But let's try this out for loop with range. Okay, so if we try this one out, and when I run the code, now you can see what happened. So we created an array or a list with 10 items in it. Okay, so when I said the range as 10, that means that automatically creates a list with 10 items. See, so it starts from 0 and it goes until 9, right? So it starts from 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. And since we are looping it inside the for, that's going to go through the loop. Okay, so that's how we create it with the range. Let's try out another example and see. So now this range, we have couple of methods of setting the range. Now in this case, for loop with range set to 2 and 6. See how it's going to work out, right? So for x in range and print x, okay, so I'm just going to print x, and here in the range I'm going to define it as 2 and 6, and let's run this and see what happens. So when I run this, I'll comment these ones for the moment just to make it easier, otherwise it's going to be a bit complex. Okay, now if I run this, you can see we got 2, 3, 4 and 5, right? So now what happened was, when we define the range, we can define a specific range output. So here we say start from 2 and go until 6. So that means when you start from 2, yes, you get the value 2, but when you say 6, 6 means this is the final point, right? So sorry, yeah, so here if I print only this value, okay, if I print this, let's see what we get. See, oops, yeah, sorry, not like that. So not to print it, so I'll just give you an example. So when we say start from 2, that means we will be starting from the second index, right? So this is like 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, no? Right? Sorry, 5, right? So 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, right? So when we say start from 2, we are literally requesting it to start from this position. So the second index, 0, 1 and 2. So this is the second index, and then goes until 6. So that means 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and 6. 6 means one more. But then again, since the loop is set to set to 6, it's going to end at 5, because see 0, 1, 2, 3. So 0 is, so if you count it as 1, then it would be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. No? So that means it goes until 6. Okay. So that's how the system works. Now if I say from 3 to 6, then that means I'm going to start from the third index, 0, 1, 2, 3, third index, and goes until the last one, 5th. Okay. Is it clear? Oh, confusing. Got the idea?
Clear?
Okay. Binlaka, what about, Daham, what about you? Okay.
Yes, sir.
Idea? Okay. Make a try karanna. You have to print this out and see, okay? So I'll show you one more thing, and then you can play around it. Okay, so this range also has another third parameter. So we can do something like this. So we can create a range. So let's say for loop which will which will print a number every 25 times. Okay, see how it's going to work out. So let's write this for x in range, and I'm going to print the value like this. Okay, now this x in range, now here what we can do is we can say starts from 0, go until 100, and we can say in the third value we can tell the range to give numbers every 25 times. So now I'll comment this just to show, just so that it won't mix things up. Now if I run it, see, you can see, since it's starting from 0, you get 0, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33, 34, 35, 36, 37, 38, 39, 40, 41, 42, 43, 44, 45, 46, 47, 48, 49, 50, 51, 52, 53, 54, 55, 56, 57, 58, 59, 60, 61, 62, 63, 64, 65, 66, 67, 68, 69, 70, 71, 72, 73, 74, 75, 76, 77, 78, 79, 80, 81, 82, 83, 84, 85, 86, 87, 88, 89, 90, 91, 92, 93, 94, 95, 96, 97, 98, 99, 100, 101, 102, 103, 104, 105, 106, 107, 108, 109, 110, 111, 112, 113, 114, 115, it's every 25 times, no? So that means 25, 50 and 75.
The power please RG.
And then you get all the values printed. I think Daham, your headset's battery low. I think so, right? That's where he got the mess, get the point. Okay, so I'll uncomment these lines, and can you two try this out? So you should be able to print all the values in the array and 0 to 10. Okay.
Done.
Nah, I'll add another print. Okay. I'll add a print just to space these out. Yeah, now it should be printed clear. Yeah, see? Nice. Okay. Can you try this out? Is it good? Sorry. Daham, are you okay? Got the code?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So now these are the primary types of loops you can get with the range function. Okay. So we have the range, which will generate 10 numbers. Then we use the range to select a certain portion between a number set, and then we use the range to print out numbers every X number of times. So now in this case we are printing it every 25 times. Okay. So I hope it's clear. Now then we'll jump into, so I did all the examples
Done.
which you can hear. Nice, perfect, all good. Then we have one more method where we can actually check if a specific value, and we can try to skip something. Okay, so let's try this out as well. So these are the typical points of for loops. So let's create a for loop. We'll get the same car models array. Okay, loop through the car models and skip Tesla. Okay, so let's see how we can do this. So for models in car models, okay, and then so basically the model we get the value now. So here now we learn a new keyword which is known as continue. Okay, so this continue, this allows you to skip a value, skip a specific value. Okay, now here what we do is we check if the loop is running, and if the loop value, the model value is equals to Tesla, then we continue. Continue means we tell we tell the code that to go forward. So we basically skip whatever the points which is there, and we go forward. So when this continue statement, when the code runs through, when the continue statement is hit, automatically rest of the code will not get executed, because we say done, ati, omeyan. So it automatically moves to the next step. So here, since when it finds Tesla, automatically what happens is it will skip the rest of the printing. So Tesla is not getting printed, and you go through the next one. Okay, let's try changing this. Let's put BMW, and let's try this, and you can see automatically BMW was skipped, and you get the Tesla and RR. Okay, so Can you try this out as well?
Done.
Nice. Okay. What about the hum?
Done, sir.
Okay, perfect. That's great. Okay, then you guys know the fundamental basics of all the loops. Right? Okay, now there are a few other ways of creating loops and going on so on and so forth. But let's jump into one more point, and let's jump into the other point, which is known as indefinite iteration. So what we just talked was finite iterations where something is defined, but now we go into the infinite iterations. So what happens is this will let you, now the for loop, it always loops through a specific set of conditions. So the condition or the length has to be there in order for the for loop to loop. Here, when it comes to this term while, okay, so we are learning the while loop now. So while loop, it works on a different way. So here what happens is this will basically let you loop through a set of conditions based on through a set of let's say commands based on a condition. Okay, so see, you can see here the while, what we do is while number, we check if the number is less than 20, less than or equals 20, right? You can see in the code we learned about the operators. So while number is less than or equals 20, we keep the user active, asking for him to enter a number greater than 20. Sorry. Okay. So let's try this out. I'll add this in the code. Okay. So let's try this. Okay. So let's set a number, and let's say I'll put the number as 0. Okay. And then let's check if the number is, while we say if the number is less than or equals 20, okay, what we are going to do is we take the number, right? We get the input from the user like this. So we get the input, so number equals int. Now you guys know what is int is. This is casting. This is basically getting the input and converting it into an integer, right? And then we try to get the input. So input, we can say please enter a number, okay, and if the number is less than 20, then we can say you entered a number, if, so this will loop until you enter a number which is less than 20. If not, then what we say, we can send a message, you entered a number greater than 20. So you entered a number greater than 20. Okay, so let's run this and see. So okay, now this is asking for a number. So if I add let's say 0 and enter, this loop keeps on looping through, right? So if I add 4, yes, still I'm going to get this. And let's add 15, still going to get it. If I add 19, yes, still the condition fails now. But if I add 20, less than no, if I add 20, 22, yeah, so it's less than or equals no. So if I add 20, still it's going to fail. But if I add anything much greater than 20, then when I add 22, I got the message saying you entered a number greater than 20, right? So what happened was we got into this the while loop, And it's a never ending loop, because until the condition is false, until this particular condition is false, the loop keeps on running. Okay, so it will let you perform activities. Okay, so this is actually a good example which we just tried out, because this is how we create console applications. So inside the console, we keep on looping, or let's say repeating a loop to get the user's input. So as long as, or until the user gives a proper input, it's not going to stop. It's going to keep on looping until the correct input is given. Okay, so here now you can see that we got the number 20 and the input was stopped. So yeah, can you try this out, guys? Then we can jump to the next part. Yeah, I'll give you 5 minutes to go through it, then we can finish up the lecture, because
Done?
Done. Okay, what about the hum? It works?
Wait, sir.
Sure. Try running this on your terminal and see them, like whether you get a different output.
Okay, sir, wait. So it's supposed to repeat like please enter a number, right?
Correct, yes. So until the condition is met, until this condition is met, it should keep on looping.
Yeah.
Okay, does it work?
Yes.
Okay, so just keep in mind, this is how we build terminal applications. When you install software, sometimes you can see this terminal box where it asks you to enter some details. So you literally write it using this type of loops. So when we need to get the user's input on something, this is how we do that. So we can actually loop this, we can expand this into multiple different, let's say, functionalities. Okay, perfect. Now we learned the concepts about loops as well. Okay, so apart from loops, we do have another particular requirement where we get to use random numbers. Okay, so in high level programming, we actually use external plugins to actually get this thing done. So in Python, we have this package called random. Okay, so once you install the random package, let me print this and see. Now if I try to print the random, you can see this is coming from a Python library called random. Okay, so it gives you some interesting features. Okay, so if you guys really want to check this, you can literally go to the modules and see the module details. So you have so this Geeks for Geeks is actually a little bit of a complex one, because this is focusing for developers. So, but it also has almost all the features listed down. So, what you can do is you can actually come up with like use this type of tools to make your life easier in a way. Okay, so we are not going to go in depth in that, but in your syllabus we talk a little bit about how to generate a random integer. Okay, so what we did was, now in the range we created a range now. The way we created random number range. Okay, so you can actually create something. Okay, so I'll show you few features. So let's say you get to create, you get to pick a random number within a range. Okay, now it's like this. Good example, when it comes to OTP messages, have you guys noticed you get the OTP message with a certain code, right? So what you can do is, normally what they do is you put the range as something like this. So starting from 1000, which goes up to 9999. Now when you reload, you can see you always get a 4-digit number. Okay, so this is how we use random number generators for our day-to-day use. Okay, so in the example in the book, it basically shows you a way of generating a random init. So what I did was generate a random range now, but we can use something like random init. Random int, and from here, see, we can give in two features. So the range again, so let's say if I put random 200, and you can see we got a random number again. Okay, so this is how these features work. And give me 1 second, I'll go back. So Python random module, I'll send the link on the chat as well. No? Okay, so I send it on the chat also. So this has a certain set of features: random init, random int, choices, shuffle, sample, random, uniform. Just if you run the just simple random method, that would generate a random number. And you have like different variants and so on and so forth. So I'm not going to go into that in depth, because these are like a certain set of features, like custom functions, which is used for probability theories as well as statistics. Okay, so example is based on a given particular number, we can generate a certain set of numbers and to support statistical data. Okay, so that is how the random version works. So try this out. It's just to, all you need to do is just use the import feature, import keyword, and you put random, and once you import it, then you can actually use the random package or the plugin. Okay, so perfect. So guys, we basically covered up the primary points of programming. Okay, now we jump into a point where, to make sure that to kind of like to make sure if the code is actually properly readable, and we are talking about few code related points. Okay, so let's go through this, and we'll see what are these points are. Give me 1 second. Okay, perfect. Okay, so sounds good. So making programs easy to read. Okay, so now as a developer or developers, we need to make sure that whatever the details or the software we write is properly readable. Okay, because it's like this. So whatever the code you write, it must be clear, and other people or whomever who is going to work on that code after you, right, should be able to understand it and should be able to read the logic, right? Because now you guys know coding means writing logic, right? Business logic. So when you write business logic, that means that business logic must make sense, right? Otherwise, yes, you might code. Let's say Binlaga works on a project, and then I join the team, and when I'm there, I should be able to ideally read and understand what's going on, right? If I can't read and understand what's going on, that's going to be a big problem, because I won't be able to continue your code base, and that's going to come up with a certain, like let's say, a chain of problems, because you might get stuck with, so your system will not be able to, let's say, sustain, right? Okay, so when the primary objectives is to explain the benefits. Now here we are not going to go very in depth like in programming systems, but the objective is for us to understand and to make sure we know the benefits of making sure your code is easy to read and the techniques. Okay, so code readability. Now you can see, you might have noticed, like when I type the code, I always try to indent it, and I try to set it in a specific order. So the primary reason for that is that indentation and the structuring makes it easy to read. But for the program, for the software, I mean for the computer, it doesn't make that much of sense, because anyway he will be converting it into binary code, right? So machine code, and he will be processing it in a different way.
Sir, I send my Google Color.
Okay, perfect. I'll check that. So we'll just go through this part. So just want to explain you the idea, right? Okay, so if you take a look at this code example, you can see that this has like properly structured, as well as now displayed. The code is structured, but now from my personal point of view, now මේකේ කියන හැටියට මේකේ කියන an example of Python code කියලා. From my personal point of view, if you work for me and if you write this type of code, I'm going to kick you out. The thing is, this code is okay, this code is perfectly fine, but you need to comment, you need to put comments, and you have to explain your code. The code when you read it from the top to bottom, yes, you can read and understand what it is. Like මොකද්ද කියලා තියෙන කියලා තේරුම් ගන්න පුළුවන් සිංහලෙන් කියනවා නම්. හැබැයි problem is that the logics and what it does, that part is not there, right? That part is there. I mean, that part is not there in simple English. That is there in the coding, yes, obviously. But ඕක තේරුම් ගන්න ඉතින් මේක කියවන්න එපා උඩ දාගෙන වෙනකන්. එහෙම නෙමෙයි, when you go through a system, you should be able to see what is exactly going on there and how it's structured. So then only you can see this. So sales did not follow good practice because there are a number of issues, right? So issues are variables where variables are not descriptive, as well as you have blank lines of codes, as well as no comments. So these three are the primary problems when it comes to this particular code file. So then what are the points you need to follow? So primarily you need to make sure you add comments. Okay, so comments, one of the most important things, because that would let other people or other developers understand what you have done. So when you have a comment, when you have a clear comment, then other people can read that comment and understand what that code block means, right? And then mainly descriptive names. So descriptive names is really another important point, because variables, when you define a variable, now you guys saw when I code, I always use specific descriptive names for all the variables, because I need to make sure that whatever the data I store in that variable is defined or described by the variable name. So if the variable name says car models, then yes, it is car models. Now, if I create a variable as CM, let's say CM, and try to put the car models, theoretically it works, because for the program, for the language, now in this case Python, for Python, PM and car model CM and the short variable CM and the long variable car models, both are the same. So for the Python system, it doesn't matter, but for you it really matters, because when you see the variable name CM, then you know, you won't know what it is. But if you see a variable name car models, then you can get an idea, okay, this is talking about car models, right? Likewise. And then indentation is one most important point. Now be careful. Now this is something which we strictly follow in Python, because Python is an indented language, so you don't have any curly braces and things to sort out the code. But if you take a different code, like a different language like .NET, Java, PHP, and any sort of a language which has a structure, then the indentation is still important, but it's not a must. So in other languages, you do have the option of like typing the code from top to bottom, and it will automatically work. But in Python, no, you must indent, because the entire code structure is based on the indentation. Okay, and then we have white spaces. So white spaces, again, leaving blank lines. So for the code, since this code is anyway getting compiled, it doesn't matter that much of having white spaces and blocks, because anyway that would process, and those white spaces are not going to get processed by the system, right? So once it's compiled, those white spaces and empty spaces are technically removed. So that means so we add white spaces for the ease of reading, so that the code will be properly structured, right? So then we can actually see and understand how it works. Okay, so yeah, so yes, Vinlaga, you want to say something? No, okay. So super. So we will wrap it off today, because we finished that entire point, and then I want to give you a homework. Can you guys do this activity on your collab or on your code and send it to me? So this activity, so this is written in pseudocode, but you guys know how to read this now. So this is creating a list of items starting from set x to set 10, and you loop through the list of items or the variable until x is greater than 0, and you print an x on the page, and when this is done, you print blast off. Okay, Hari, homework, you have to do this. Okay, so send Binlaga, you can.
What is the page, sir?
The page is page number 52.
Okay, sir.
52, activity 11. Okay, so adama karan dhammama karala mata daan chat ekේ දාන්න බෑ අද just put a screenshot within the day so that we can try it
So
out.
can you send the PDF of this book?
Yes, of course. I have shared it on the chat couple of times. Yeah, it's sent through WhatsApp.
So I didn't got it.
It's still uploading. It's still uploading. Give it a second.
Okay, sir.
It's still uploading. It's about 50. How much is it? That's close to 100 megabytes. Still uploading. I just sent it on the chat. So, I mean, on the group itself. So, you will receive it in a while. Okay, so please do go through it and send me the file so I can actually check that. And next week we'll jump into the strings. And strings, we already did the strings. We already covered this part. So I actually started with strings too. So make it simple ටිකක්. So after that we jump into data structures. So data structures also, I just showed you, we just did the data structures also. Now you guys know how data dictionaries work. So we will learn about these multidimensional arrays and all, which we just did with the Toyota Camry, remember? Right? And then next week, during the next class, we can actually finish this module off, man. Input outputs, we talk about few functions, but we will be able to wrap it off. Where here we will learn about how to open a file and read some content, and after that is sorted out, then input and output. Yeah, that is also done. Then we can jump into functions. So functions. So next week we'll try to finish all these things and then jump into functions, and let's see how it goes. So if you have any questions, please feel free to send a message on our WhatsApp group or directly send me a message. Don't call එකක් හරි දෙන්න කතා කරනවා no problem. I'll obviously ping back. Okay. Super. Then all good. Thanks a lot, and see you guys next week.
Okay, sir. Thank you,
Okay.
sir.
See you. Bye.
Bye, sir.
Bye. See you.